Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt that no matter how hard you work, money slips through your fingers? You earn, you spend, you save, but somehow, it never seems enough. What if I told you there's a secret, a simple phrase you can speak whenever you handle money that can completely change the flow of wealth in your life? Yes, a phrase so powerful that Florence Scovel Shinn, one of the greatest metaphysical teachers, said it can magnetize abundance to you. And the best part? It's not about luck. It's not about working harder. It's about aligning your words with the infinite power of the universe. Think about your words like seeds. Every time you speak, you're planting a seed. If you speak doubt, "I'll never have enough," you're planting a weed. And weeds, they grow fast. They choke out every opportunity. But if you speak abundance, "I am open to receiving, I am grateful for this wealth," you plant a tree. A tree that grows strong, giving you fruit year after year. I remember a friend, just a few months ago, who used to stress every time he paid a bill. He'd mutter, "Money is always leaving me." And guess what? It always did. Then, he started saying this simple line every time he handled money. "I am a magnet for wealth. Money comes to me easily, freely, and abundantly." Within weeks, things shifted. Opportunities appeared. Unexpected checks arrived. His stress faded. And he realized, words aren't just sounds. They are commands to the universe. Some might say, "But words don't pay bills." True. But words change your vibration. They change how you see opportunities. They make you alert, confident, ready to receive. Your subconscious hears every word. When you speak abundance, your mind starts seeing possibilities everywhere. You notice opportunities you'd have ignored before. Doors open. Connections happen. And yes, money flows. Ask yourself, how often do we curse our finances without realizing it? How often do we let fear decide our financial future? What if, just for today, you decided to speak wealth into existence? What if every time you handle cash, a card, a check, or a payment, you declared your abundance out loud? Imagine how your life would change. Imagine walking through the world knowing money works for you, not against you. Here's what you do. Every time you handle money, say these words. "I am a magnet for wealth. Money comes to me easily, freely, and abundantly." Say it with confidence. Say it with gratitude. Say it like you already believe it. Do this consistently. Watch the universe respond. Watch doors open. Watch your financial stress melt away. Wealth isn't just numbers in a bank account. It's freedom. It's peace. It's the ability to give, to live fully, to create joy in your life and in the lives of others. So speak with power. Speak with belief. Speak with love. Remember this, every coin you touch, every bill you hold, every transaction you make is an opportunity to declare your abundance. Start today. Speak it. Feel it. Live it. And watch your life transform. Thank you. In this video you will listen these key points. Words are powerful seeds that shape your financial reality. Speaking abundance aligns your subconscious mind with wealth. Fearful or negative statements about money attract scarcity. Consistently affirming wealth opens doors and opportunities. Gratitude amplifies the effect of abundance declarations. Wealth is not just money, it's freedom, peace, and the power to create joy. Imagine walking through a garden in the early morning. The sun has just begun to rise, and dew glistens on every leaf and petal. You reach down and plant a seed in the soft, fertile soil. You don't know what it will become. It could grow into a delicate flower, filling the air with fragrance, or a sturdy tree, offering shade and fruit. But one thing is certain, the seed you place in the ground today carries the potential to shape the garden for years to come. This is exactly what words are in our lives. Every sentence you speak, every phrase you mutter under your breath, is a seed you plant in the soil of your mind, and eventually, it manifests in the garden of your life. Now, think about the words you say when you handle money. How often do we mutter complaints, sighs, or regrets? "I'll never have enough. Money is always leaving me. This bill is too high." These are seeds of scarcity. Each one lands quietly, almost unnoticed, yet inside your subconscious, it begins to take root. It grows silently, shaping your thoughts, your decisions, and your very perception of what is possible. And soon, just like weeds in a neglected garden, these seeds sprout into habits and patterns that block the growth of anything abundant. I remember a woman I once knew. Every month, as she opened her bills and bank statements, she would mutter, almost ritualistically, "I don't know how I'll make it this month." She didn't realize it, but her words were creating a reality of constant struggle. She worked hard, saved carefully, and yet somehow, financial stress was her constant companion. It wasn't the numbers that kept her trapped, it was the narrative she fed herself every single day. Her words had become the architects of her financial life. Contrast that with another friend of mine who had very little money when he first started his business. He was constantly handling cash, paying suppliers, and negotiating deals. Every time he handled money, he would whisper, almost reverently, "I am a magnet for wealth. Money flows to me freely and abundantly." At first, it felt strange, almost silly. But he persisted. Slowly, he noticed shifts. A client unexpectedly paid early. A supplier offered a discount without him asking. A business opportunity appeared that seemed too good to be true. It wasn't luck, it was the cumulative effect of the seeds he planted with his words. Those affirmations shaped his perception, making him alert to opportunities and open to receiving what he had once believed was impossible. Words are alive. They carry vibrations. The ancient metaphysical teacher Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized that what we say aloud is far more powerful than mere wishful thinking. When you say, "I can't afford this," you send out a signal that restricts your possibilities. When you say, "I am abundant," you set a magnetic field around yourself that attracts opportunities, resources, and ideas. Think of it as invisible energy streaming from your mouth into the universe, calling in experiences that match your declarations. Imagine, for a moment, two neighbors planting gardens side by side. One plants flowers with care, waters them daily, and whispers encouragement to the seeds, speaking of their growth and beauty. The other tosses seeds into the dirt, steps on some, complains about the soil, and curses the weather. Which garden will flourish? Which will wither? Our words have the same effect on our finances. Positive, deliberate, and grateful statements nourish our money and opportunities. Negative, fearful, or doubtful words stunt growth, no matter how much effort we put in. Consider the everyday actions we take with money. When you pay a bill, do you sigh, shake your head, and say, "This is too much"? That small statement, seemingly harmless, is a seed. Repeated thousands of times, it grows into a habit of resistance. Your subconscious hears it, and soon your mind begins to see every transaction as a loss, every payment as a burden. You begin to unconsciously block wealth from entering, because your energy is locked in scarcity. Now imagine instead handling that same bill and saying, "I am grateful for the opportunity to pay this. I release it with love, and more abundance comes to me in return." You've just planted a seed of abundance. Your subconscious begins to align with that mindset, your decisions shift, and the universe mirrors your words with opportunities, resources, and unexpected blessings. Words also shape our emotional connection to money. Scarcity words breed fear and anxiety. Abundance words breed confidence and freedom. Think of a child learning to speak. The words they hear become their reality. "You're smart, you can do this, you are capable," these words empower. "You're no good at this, you'll never succeed," these words limit. Money, in many ways, responds to the same principle. Our internal dialogue and spoken words create the framework in which wealth either thrives or stagnates. Here's another example. A friend who struggled with debt started keeping a small notebook on her desk. Every time she handled cash, a check, or a card, she wrote down an affirmation: "Money flows to me. I am open to abundance. I release worry and embrace prosperity." At first, it felt ritualistic, almost silly. But after a few weeks, her perspective shifted. She noticed small ways money came to her that she had overlooked before: a refund she had forgotten about, a client paying a bonus, even finding coins on the sidewalk. The words were seeds, and the seeds were growing. Her reality had changed not because of magic, but because her subconscious and conscious actions aligned with abundance. Planting seeds with words requires attention. It requires discipline. It's not enough to speak abundance once in a while. Every interaction with money is an opportunity to reinforce the garden you wish to grow. The cashier at the store, the tip you leave, the payment you make, all are chances to declare wealth and gratitude, to water the seeds you plant with intentional words. Words can also heal financial wounds. Think of someone who grew up in a family constantly worried about money. Those limiting beliefs are like inherited seeds, sprouting automatically in adulthood. By consciously choosing new words, phrases, and affirmations, we can replace the weeds with flourishing trees. I release fear about money, I am worthy of wealth, I attract abundance effortlessly. These become the antidotes to scarcity, and over time, they grow into reality. Every single person listening today has the power to plant seeds that will shape their financial future. Every word you speak about money matters. Every thought, every muttered complaint, every declaration of possibility is a seed taking root. Speak with intention. Speak with gratitude. Speak with faith. The moment you realize that words are alive, that they are not mere sounds but powerful instruments of creation, everything changes. Wealth begins to follow not because you work harder, but because you are aligned, because the seeds you plant with your words are growing into forests of opportunity and abundance. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your mind as a vast, hidden theater. Behind the curtains, scenes are being rehearsed constantly. The subconscious mind is the stage manager, the director, and the audience all at once. It watches, it learns, and it shapes the reality that walks out on the main stage of your life. Every word you speak about money, every thought you entertain, is like a cue in this theater, setting the scene for what will appear. When you speak abundance, you are sending a powerful instruction to the backstage crew, aligning every hidden force within you to create wealth, opportunity, and ease. I knew a young man, Alex, who struggled for years with the idea of financial freedom. He worked tirelessly, but despite his efforts, money always felt just out of reach. He was constantly worried about bills, loans, and unexpected expenses. One day, a mentor told him something that changed everything. Alex, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between reality and what you declare. Speak abundance, and it will act to bring that reality to life. Alex was skeptical. He asked, how can simply saying something change my life? But he decided to try. Every morning, he would stand in front of the mirror and repeat, I am abundant. I attract money easily. My wealth increases every day. At first, it felt awkward. His subconscious was used to years of fear-based commands. I can't afford this, there's never enough, money is hard to come by. These words had been rehearsed endlessly, like actors who had memorized the same sad lines for years. But repetition of positive declarations is like rewriting the script. Slowly, the subconscious mind began to accept the new words as the truth. It started guiding Alex to see opportunities he had never noticed before, freelance jobs that paid above market rate, investments he had dismissed as risky but were smart, clients willing to pay upfront rather than delay payments. His mind had realigned, and with it, his financial reality transformed. Think of it like programming a GPS. If you keep telling the system, avoid the highway, it will steer you through endless side streets, back alleys, and day tours. But when you clearly declare your destination, take me to wealth, to abundance, to prosperity, your subconscious mind, the internal GPS, charts the optimal path. Suddenly, doors you didn't even see before start opening, opportunities appear as if by magic, and your actions become synchronized with your declared goal. I remember another story of a woman named Lila, who ran a small bakery. She loved baking, but her business barely made enough to cover rent. She would constantly worry about customers and sales. One day, she began a simple practice. Every time she handled money, counting coins, paying suppliers, accepting cash, she would say aloud, I am attracting abundance. My bakery thrives and grows effortlessly. At first, it was just words. But over the weeks, her subconscious began noticing things she had missed before. A local store offering to stock her cakes, a food blogger sharing her creations online, repeat customers leaving generous tips. She had aligned her mind with abundance, and the world responded. This is the magic of speaking abundance. It doesn't just feel good, it rewires your inner world. Your subconscious mind is like fertile soil, ready to grow whatever you plant. When your words and thoughts are scarcity-driven, you unconsciously create obstacles, mismanage opportunities, and see challenges instead of possibilities. But when you speak abundance, you plant seeds of wealth, confidence, and optimism. The subconscious mind starts looking for ways to make your spoken truth real. It notices opportunities, nudges you toward smart decisions, and even influences the way others respond to you. Consider a simple scenario. You are about to make a purchase, maybe paying a bill or investing in something new. One person mutters, "I hope this doesn't drain me," and approaches the transaction with tension, fear, and reluctance. Another person, speaking with clarity and confidence, says, "I am grateful for the opportunity to invest in my growth. Wealth flows to me freely." Which person's subconscious mind is now alert to opportunities? Which person is more likely to notice a discount, a bonus, or an unexpected benefit? It's subtle, yet profound. Your words directly shape your internal landscape, and your internal landscape shapes your external reality. Even simple phrases can carry enormous power when repeated consistently. I am abundant, money comes to me easily, I deserve wealth and prosperity. These are not just feel-good statements. They are instructions to your subconscious mind, like planting a series of directional signs that guide you toward wealth. Over time, the mind stops questioning, stops doubting, and starts actively orchestrating experiences that reflect the abundance you declare. One of the most remarkable aspects of this alignment is how it transforms not just financial outcomes, but your emotional state. Imagine waking up and knowing that wealth is on its way, that you are supported, that opportunities will flow to you. That certainty brings confidence, decisiveness, and peace. It removes hesitation and self-sabotage, because your subconscious mind is no longer working against you, it is working for you, alert to solutions, ideas, and paths you never noticed before. And here's the beauty: this process doesn't require outside validation. You don't need someone to hand you a check or a promotion. By speaking abundance, you create an internal reality that attracts external manifestations naturally. Your subconscious mind begins to filter your experiences, spotlighting what serves your prosperity and dimming what does not. You become a magnet for wealth, not because of chance, but because your inner world, the part that runs silently in the background, has been reprogrammed to act in harmony with your spoken words. Even when life throws unexpected challenges, an unpaid invoice, an urgent repair, or a sudden expense, the subconscious mind that has been trained to expect abundance responds differently. Instead of panic, it looks for solutions. Instead of fear, it generates ideas. Instead of scarcity, it notices generosity and opportunity. Speaking abundance is not denial, it is a proactive alignment with possibility, a declaration that no matter what appears on the surface, the underlying current of your life is wealth, opportunity, and growth. Every word matters. Every time you speak abundance, you are training your mind to notice abundance. You are planting seeds in the theater of your subconscious that will bloom into tangible results. It is subtle at first, almost invisible. A small shift in thinking, a tiny opportunity noticed, a client responding positively where they once ignored you. But as repetition continues, the alignment becomes undeniable. The mind knows its purpose, the universe responds, and the life you desire begins to emerge effortlessly. There is a quiet truth about money that most people never realize until they look closely at their lives. It is not money itself that is scarce, it is the words and emotions we attach to it that create scarcity. Fearful and negative statements about money don't just express our frustration, they shape the very reality we live in. Think about the last time you said something like, "I'll never get ahead," or "money is always running out." In that moment, you weren't just venting, you were instructing your subconscious mind to make those words true. You were setting scarcity in motion. I once knew a man named David who was constantly at war with his finances. Every paycheck felt too small, every bill felt like a mountain, every purchase was laced with guilt. He had a habit of saying, "Money just disappears. It slips through my hands no matter what I do." And what happened? Exactly that. Unexpected expenses seemed to come out of nowhere, his savings never grew, and even when he received a bonus at work, it vanished almost immediately. His words had become self-fulfilling prophecies. Fear and negativity about money were writing the script of his life, and scarcity was the leading actor. Think of it like holding a magnet. If your words are soaked in fear, I can't afford this, there's never enough, I hate dealing with money, you turn that magnet toward lack. Suddenly, your energy attracts more situations that confirm your fear. Opportunities slip by unnoticed because your mind is too busy scanning for danger. Even when abundance tries to find you, you can't hold on to it because your subconscious believes it doesn't belong to you. Scarcity isn't just about numbers, it's about the vibration of fear that repels wealth. Imagine two people walking into the same store. One mutters, "Everything is so expensive, I can't afford anything." The other quietly says, "I always find value in what I need." Who do you think is more likely to discover a hidden sale, a helpful employee, or a creative solution? It's not magic, it's perception shaped by words. Fearful statements narrow the mind, closing it off. Abundant statements expand the mind, opening it to possibilities. I once worked with a woman named Maria who lived in constant fear of losing her job. Every morning she told herself, "If I get laid off, I'll lose everything." Those words, repeated daily, created an undercurrent of panic in her subconscious. She worked nervously, made mistakes she normally wouldn't, and her boss noticed. Eventually, her fear manifested, she was let go. Later, she realized that it wasn't her lack of skill that cost her the job, it was the energy of scarcity she carried into every room, fueled by the words she spoke over herself. Fear has a way of multiplying when it's spoken aloud. It spreads into your tone, your body language, your decision-making. People can feel it, even if they can't name it. If you sit across from a client and say, "I hope this works out, money is really tight," you don't just communicate desperation, you invite scarcity into the room. But if you say, "I'm confident in the value I bring," you radiate trust, and trust attracts opportunities. It's like holding a glass of water. If you keep saying, "It's almost empty, it's almost empty," you focus only on what's lacking. You panic with every sip, convinced the last drop is near. But if you say, "I'm grateful for every drop I have, and more is on the way," you shift into gratitude, which is the opposite of scarcity. Gratitude opens the door for the glass to be refilled. Fear locks the door shut. Some people argue, "But I'm just being realistic when I say money is tight." Yet realism without hope is just disguised fear. It's rehearsing scarcity until it becomes permanent. Consider the story of Michael, a small business owner. During a tough season, he constantly repeated, "We're barely surviving, the money isn't there." His employees heard him say it, his family heard him say it, and soon everyone around him began to believe it. Customers sensed the desperation, and business slowed even more. Then, one day, after reading a book on affirmations, Michael decided to experiment. He began replacing his statements with, "Our business is growing. Money flows to us through happy customers." Slowly but surely, he noticed a change. His energy shifted, his team's energy shifted, and the customers began responding positively again. The external scarcity changed only after the internal scarcity, the negative words, were replaced. Fearful statements don't just live in our mouths, they lodge themselves in our subconscious and replay over and over like background music. "I'll never have enough. I'll always be in debt. Money is hard to come by." These words become beliefs, and beliefs become patterns. And here's the thing, your subconscious doesn't argue. If you say, "Money is hard," it accepts it as truth and guides your decisions to prove it right. You might procrastinate on applying for a better job, you might ignore a profitable idea, or you might self-sabotage an opportunity just to stay aligned with the scarcity you declared. But the opposite is also true. When you catch yourself speaking fear and replace it with faith, you begin to attract abundance instead of lack. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," you say, "How can I create the resources for this?" That small shift in words moves you from helplessness to creativity. Instead of saying, "Money always leaves me," you say, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways." Suddenly, your subconscious begins looking for opportunities instead of obstacles. Scarcity lives in the words we rehearse. Abundance also lives in the words we rehearse. The choice, every day, is ours. Fearful words close doors. Faith-filled words open them. Negative declarations about money keep us circling in the same loop of struggle. Positive, grateful declarations guide us onto new paths of possibility. So the question is, what script are you reading from? What lines are you feeding your subconscious each day? Are you rehearsing the role of the person who never has enough, or are you stepping into the role of the person who is always supported, always provided for, always aligned with wealth? Because here's the truth, the universe listens. Your subconscious listens. And when fear speaks, scarcity comes running. But when abundance speaks, opportunity answers. Consistency. That's the secret most people overlook. We live in a world where we want instant results. Say one affirmation, and we expect money to rain down tomorrow. Whisper a single prayer, and we want doors to burst open immediately. But abundance doesn't work like a lottery ticket. It works like compound interest. Small, consistent deposits into the bank of your subconscious mind build wealth far greater than one big, dramatic gesture ever could. Think of a stream cutting through rock. If you pour a bucket of water once, nothing changes. The rock stands unmoved. But when water flows over it day after day, year after year, even the hardest stone softens, cracks, and transforms into a pathway. This is what consistent affirmations do. They don't force wealth overnight, but they carve new patterns in your subconscious, making you open, aligned, and ready for opportunities you would never have noticed otherwise. I once spoke with a man named Henry who was fascinated by affirmations but frustrated by their lack of immediate magic. He told me, "I tried saying, 'I am abundant,' for a few days, but nothing changed." I asked him, "Henry, how long did you repeat the words that money was scarce? How many years did you rehearse phrases like 'I'll never have enough' or 'money doesn't grow on trees'?" He thought about it and admitted, "Pretty much my whole life." I smiled and said, "Then why expect decades of programming to be undone in 3 days? Consistency isn't a punishment, it's the secret ingredient. Keep going, and you'll see." Months later, Henry called me with excitement in his voice. He had stuck with it, saying his affirmations every morning, every night, and every time he touched money. "Something changed," he said. "At first it felt forced. But then I started to believe it. And then things started happening. Clients who hadn't called me in years suddenly reached out, I was offered a promotion, and I even won a small prize in a raffle. It's like the universe woke up and said, 'Finally, he believes.'" That's the power of consistency. It's not about the words alone, it's about the energy those words build when spoken over and over until they become your natural truth. Consistency is what transforms a simple affirmation from a fragile whisper into a commanding declaration. The first time you say, "I am wealthy," your subconscious might laugh, "No, you're not. Look at your bank account." The 10th time, it still resists. The 100th time, it starts to listen. The 1000th time, it accepts. And once the subconscious accepts, doors begin to swing open, sometimes in ways so subtle you won't even realize they were closed before. I remember reading about a woman who carried a small slip of paper in her wallet with one sentence written on it, "Money flows to me easily and freely." Every time she opened her wallet, whether to pay for groceries, to tip a waiter, or to take out cash, she would see those words and repeat them silently. She did this for years, never missing a moment. To her, it was like brushing her teeth, small, daily maintenance. One day she looked back and realized her life had transformed. She had gone from constant debt to financial freedom, and she credited it not to one big windfall, but to the daily ritual of affirming wealth until it became second nature. Opportunities are always around us. The truth is, they don't suddenly appear when we start affirming abundance. They've been there all along. But consistency in affirmations changes us. It sharpens our perception, tunes our vibration, and gives us the courage to act when those doors show up. Without consistency, we overlook them. With consistency, we walk through them. Think of it this way, imagine two people standing in the same field. Hidden under the soil are treasures, gold coins, jewels, and precious stones. One person digs randomly, giving up after a few shovels. The other digs steadily, every day, in the same spot. Who discovers the treasure? Not the one who tried once and gave up, but the one who was consistent. Affirmations work the same way. Each repetition is a shovel. Each declaration is another layer of soil removed. Eventually, the treasure is revealed. One of the most inspiring examples I've ever seen was from a single mother, exhausted from working 2 jobs. She told me she started a practice. Every morning before her children woke, she would look into the mirror and say, "I am wealthy, I am worthy, I am open to opportunities." At first, nothing shifted. But she didn't stop. 6 months later, she was offered a remote position that paid double one of her jobs. A year later, she was running her own small business from home. When I asked her what made the difference, she said, "Consistency. I decided I wouldn't stop until the words became true. And somewhere along the way, they did." The universe responds to persistence. It responds to faith that refuses to quit. Speaking abundance once is like knocking lightly on a door. Consistency is like knocking again and again until the door not only opens but swings wide, inviting you in. And here's the beautiful part: consistency builds belief, and belief builds momentum. At first, you speak the words. Then, the words begin to speak you. They become so ingrained in your being that they guide your thoughts, your choices, your energy. Without realizing it, you walk differently, talk differently, approach opportunities differently. People notice. They're drawn to your confidence, to your certainty. And they offer you doors you never saw before. Opportunities are not rare. They are everywhere, waiting for the person who has trained their mind to see them. Affirmations are the training. Consistency is the practice. And wealth is the reward. So the next time you're tempted to give up after a week of speaking abundance, remember the stream cutting through rock. Remember the field hiding treasure. Remember the woman with the slip of paper in her wallet. Wealth is not built in one moment, it is built in repeated moments, stacked one on top of another, until the door that was once locked swings wide open. Consistency is the quiet key. Speak abundance every day. Speak it when you believe it and when you don't. Speak it when your pockets feel heavy and when they feel light. Each time you do, you're carving, digging, planting. And one day, without warning, you'll look around and realize the doors you once thought were closed have been standing open all along, just waiting for you to walk through. Gratitude is the multiplier. It is the secret ingredient that takes an affirmation from a mere string of words and transforms it into a living force. You can speak, "I am wealthy," 100 times, but when you add gratitude, when you say, "I am grateful for the wealth flowing into my life," you ignite something deeper. Gratitude doesn't just declare abundance, it anchors it. It locks the door behind scarcity and opens windows for blessings to pour in from directions you never expected. Imagine being handed a gift. The giver smiles, waiting for your reaction. If you grab it and mutter nothing, the energy feels flat. But if you smile back and say, "Thank you, this means so much," suddenly, the giver feels joy. They want to give again. Gratitude creates a cycle of giving and receiving. The same is true with money. When you receive it with gratitude, spend it with gratitude, and affirm it with gratitude, you set in motion a cycle that attracts more. I once met a man named Samuel who struggled for years to get ahead. Every paycheck, he would complain, "It's not enough, it's gone before it arrives." Even when he received extra income, he would sigh, "Well, this will disappear too." His words were heavy, and his heart carried resentment. One day, he decided to experiment. Instead of complaining, he began to say, "Thank you for this paycheck. Thank you for the food it provides, the shelter it supports, the opportunities it creates." At first, it felt mechanical. But something shifted in him. The more grateful he became, the lighter he felt. He stopped dreading his bills and started blessing them, whispering, "Thank you for electricity, thank you for water, thank you for the service I receive." Within months, he noticed changes: an unexpected promotion, side projects bringing in extra cash, and a sense of peace he had never known before. Gratitude didn't just change his bank account, it changed him. Gratitude has a vibration unlike anything else. Fear shrinks. Doubt clouds. Complaints close doors. But gratitude expands. It clears the fog. It opens every door a little wider. Have you ever noticed how people respond differently when they feel appreciated? The waiter who smiles brighter, the friend who helps gladly, the colleague who goes the extra mile. Gratitude draws more goodness out of them. The universe responds the same way. When you're grateful for the money you have, even if it's a single coin, you magnetize more to come. Think of a child who receives their first allowance. One child pouts and says, "This isn't enough, I wanted more." Another beams, "Wow, thank you so much." Which child do you feel moved to give to again? The one who complains, or the one who receives with joy? Life works the same way. When we curse what we have, we block more from coming. When we bless what we have, no matter how small, we invite multiplication. Gratitude turns little into much. Florence Scovel Shinn often spoke about gratitude as the great amplifier. She said that whatever we bless with gratitude grows. If you bless your money, it increases. If you bless your work, it prospers. If you bless your challenges, they transform into opportunities. Gratitude is like sunlight. It makes whatever it touches flourish. I remember hearing the story of a young woman named Claire. She was drowning in debt and felt trapped. Her instinct was to complain, "Why me? Why is life so unfair?" But one day she read that gratitude could change her financial destiny. So she started small. Every night, she wrote down 5 things she was grateful for, sometimes as simple as "I'm grateful for the warm bed I sleep in," or "I'm grateful for the dollar in my pocket." Slowly, her heart shifted. She began to see abundance all around her, in the air she breathed, the kindness of strangers, the beauty of sunlight. And then, unexpectedly, her financial situation began to change. She found freelance opportunities, her boss offered her extra hours, and a friend forgave a small debt. It didn't happen overnight, but gratitude became the spark that turned her hopelessness into momentum. Gratitude also transforms how we experience giving. When we give money with fear, we feel loss. "There goes my money." But when we give with gratitude, we feel expansion. "I am grateful I can share this, and more will come." Have you ever given a tip with a smile, saying silently, "May this bless you," and felt richer for it? That's gratitude in action. It shifts the act of parting with money into an act of planting. Instead of loss, it becomes investment. Even in moments of lack, gratitude holds incredible power. Imagine looking at a nearly empty wallet. Fear whispers, "There's nothing left." But gratitude can still say, "Thank you for the money I have spent, it fed me, clothed me, sheltered me. Thank you for what is on its way." That simple shift changes everything. Fear shrinks the wallet further. Gratitude begins to refill it. There is a phrase I love, "What you appreciate, appreciates." It's more than a play on words. It's a law of life. When you appreciate money, no matter how much or how little, it grows. When you appreciate opportunities, they multiply. When you appreciate your own worth, others begin to value you more. One of the most powerful exercises I've seen is what I call the gratitude transaction. Each time you spend money on bills, on food, on anything, pause and silently say, "Thank you for what this brings me. I release it with gratitude, and I welcome more to return." That one habit turns every transaction into a prayer, every expense into a seed, every dollar spent into a magnet for more. The truth is, gratitude doesn't just amplify your affirmations, it turbocharges them. Saying, "I am abundant" plants a seed. Saying, "I am grateful for my abundance" waters that seed. Saying, "I am grateful for the abundance still coming" shines sunlight upon it. Gratitude completes the cycle. Without it, words can fall flat. With it, they bloom. And gratitude doesn't only attract money. It attracts joy. It attracts peace. It attracts a way of living where you feel supported, guided, and blessed, even in the simplest moments. That energy of joy and peace makes you magnetic, and money, like everything else, is drawn to it. So the next time you hold money in your hands, don't curse it for being too little. Don't fear that it's leaving. Instead, whisper, "Thank you. Thank you for what it represents. Thank you for what it makes possible. Thank you for what is yet to come." In that gratitude, you'll feel a shift, a lightness, a peace. And soon enough, you'll see proof in your life that gratitude is not just polite, it is powerful. So often, when we hear the word wealth, our minds instantly jump to numbers on a bank statement. We think of stacks of cash, luxurious cars, mansions on the hill. But here is a truth many never discover: wealth is not just money. Wealth is freedom. Wealth is peace. Wealth is the power to create joy, both for yourself and for others. Think about it. If wealth were only about money, why do we see so many stories of billionaires who live in misery, trapped in addictions, broken relationships, or endless anxiety? They may have more dollars than they could ever spend, yet they wake up every day with heaviness in their hearts. That isn't wealth. That's bondage with a golden chain. Now, contrast that with the smile of a mother who has just enough to care for her children and still finds joy in every sunrise, who feels gratitude for each meal shared, who laughs freely. Isn't that wealth too? Wealth is the ability to live life without constant fear. Wealth is having the freedom to say yes to opportunities and no to what drains your soul. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a woman named Elena. She had grown up with very little. Her family lived paycheck to paycheck, and she promised herself that one day she would break free. And she did. She worked hard, built her business, and earned more money than she had ever imagined. But something surprising happened. Even with her success, she felt restless. She had money, but no time. She had comfort, but no peace. One day she sat down and asked herself, "What do I really want wealth for?" Her answer was simple: I want freedom. I want to travel. I want to create memories. I want to give without fear. That moment changed everything. She began to restructure her life. She shifted her business model to give her more time. She started spending her money on experiences, not just possessions. She invested in her own joy and in the people she loved. And finally, she felt wealthy not because of the size of her bank account, but because of the richness of her days. Wealth, in its truest sense, is not accumulation. It is liberation. It is waking up and knowing that you are not trapped by debt, by fear, by limitations. It is the peace of mind that comes when you can breathe deeply and trust that life will provide. It is the joy of being able to say, "I have enough, and I am enough." Think of money like fuel. It can power the vehicle of your life, but it is not the destination. The destination is freedom, the freedom to create, to give, to rest, to live fully. Without peace and joy, money is an empty trophy. With peace and joy, even modest resources feel like abundance. Florence Scovel Shinn often emphasized that true prosperity includes harmony in all areas of life. She said that money without joy is poverty in disguise. Real prosperity means relationships filled with love, work filled with purpose, health that gives you energy, and finances that support, not control, your life. It means being able to wake up and say, "I love the life I am living." That is wealth. I once knew a man named Daniel, a teacher who never made more than a modest income. Yet, when you stepped into his home, you felt richness everywhere. Not in gold or marble, but in laughter echoing through the rooms, in the smell of home-cooked meals, in the shelves lined with books he cherished. He found joy in teaching, in shaping young minds, in giving his students confidence. He lived simply but fully. And when he passed away, hundreds of people showed up to celebrate him. His wealth was measured not in dollars, but in the legacy of love and joy he created. That is wealth of the highest order. Now ask yourself, what is wealth for you? Is it the ability to travel the world? To have time with your children? To wake up without worrying about bills? To create art, to serve others, to give generously? Whatever it is, remember this: money is only the tool. The real wealth is in how it allows you to live. Here's a powerful practice. Each time you affirm abundance, don't stop at the image of cash in your hand. Imagine what that money means. Picture the freedom it brings. Feel the peace of having your needs met. Visualize the joy of creating experiences for yourself and others. Instead of saying, "I want money," say, "I want freedom, peace, joy," and money supports that. This shift lifts your affirmations to a higher level. Because here's the secret: when you chase money, it can run from you. But when you chase freedom, peace, and joy, money often finds its way to you. Why? Because the energy of freedom, peace, and joy makes you magnetic. People want to work with you, help you, give to you, support you. Opportunities flow because you radiate abundance already. Think about someone you know who is truly at peace. Don't they feel wealthy, even if they don't live in luxury? That energy of contentment is priceless. On the other hand, someone who is stressed, fearful, and greedy can feel poor even in a palace. True wealth is internal first. The external always follows. Wealth is also the power to create joy for others. Imagine being able to slip a $20 bill into the hand of a struggling friend, or to sponsor a child's education, or to take your parents on a trip they've always dreamed of. That joy you create multiplies. It makes you feel richer than any possession ever could. So let's redefine wealth. Wealth is a child laughing in the back seat of a car, even if the car isn't brand new. Wealth is the peace you feel when you pay your bills with gratitude instead of fear. Wealth is waking up on a Monday excited instead of dreading the week ahead. Wealth is giving a gift and watching someone's eyes light up. Wealth is the quiet freedom to say, I choose this life, and I love it. When you handle money, remember this, you're not just managing paper bills or digital numbers. You're holding keys to freedom, seeds of joy, tokens of peace. Treat them as such. Speak over them not just the language of wealth, but of life. This money represents freedom. This money represents peace. This money represents joy. And as you bless it, it will expand in ways that serve not just your pocket, but your soul.